All right, and we are back. We've got Chi-Town Lowdown, week 17. I don't know what week it is in terms of like
17.
No, I meant like when we were doing it previously, we were going progressively. We were like doing episode 50, and then we just stopped keeping track of it. So I was going back a little bit. But we're back. We're back here. We're covering the Bears. We're doing the Bears specific podcast here, going over what we thought stood out to us as a part of the game against Carolina, and just going through preparing for the London game here. So
London sucks, dude. I don't like our team going to London if I was any fan. So
didn't they travel yesterday?
Yeah, I like that they're getting there early.
Yep.
That's cool.
It seems like a bit of a regime change as a whole. We're doing things the right way. I think maybe it was 670 or another interesting place that covers Chicago media. But they were saying that Ryan Poles is very cognizant of basically the woes of the Bears past and is not looking to fit that same mold. So I feel like something as simple as that would be, something that we wouldn't consider as a part of last year. So good to see even the small stuff kind of going the right way.
Whatever the Jets did, I hope we're not doing that, Jesse, do you want to start us off here? What did you think of the Carolina Panthers game?
It was great.
Yep.
It was great. Big win.
Yep.
Won the game 36-10. Caleb Williams continues to progress. He is getting better every week. He's looking more comfortable. He is he's going through his progressions. He's, looking off defenders. He's looking really good to me. And, preseason, we talked about this schedule and how the back end is the difficult portion, right? With all the divisional games. I think they've got a matchup against San Francisco. They got a matchup against Seattle. So I had mentioned that having this easier slate at the beginning of the year was going to pay dividends going into the end of the season and hopefully set us up for an opportunity to play our way into the playoffs. Sitting here today after 5 weeks, 3-2, continuing to see progression on the offensive side of the ball, continuing to see a stout defense out on the field each and every week. I'm feeling pretty good about where we are. Having the progress we had made from the end of week 3 to the end of week 5 now has been exponential. I think Caleb has really progressed the last 2 games. A lot of that, I think, is due to the focus on the run game. That's taking some pressure off of him. He's also more comfortable in the pocket. Seems like the offensive line is playing a little bit better. There's obviously still room for improvement. We're nowhere near playing our best football yet. I don't think. So, yeah, Caleb's playing well. DeAndre Swift is kind of now starting to play as we expected he would after we signed him after a disappointing first 3 weeks of the year. Roshan is a good complement to him. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns last week. He kind of brings the power to complement DeAndre Swift's elusiveness, at least these last 2 weeks. Some offensive linemen have come in after starters have gone down with injury and really stepped up and played well. I'm really impressed with Bill Murray, namesake of a very famous actor and a very prominent Chicago Bears fan.
He's a lineman, right?
Offensive
He's
lineman.
Where was
he playing?
I feel like
left guard. I think he came in for Tevin Jenkins last week.
Yeah, I think they said something on the broadcast about Bill Murray, and I was like,
oh, how could you not, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of promising things on the offensive side of the ball that I'm liking. Shane Waldron is calling the game better.
Ever since that little meeting that they so-called had, I think things have the last 2 games have been better. Yeah. I don't know what they said.
And I think, the first 3 weeks, it might have just been a rookie quarterback, a new offensive coordinator, a lot of new guys playing together for the first time. and just building that chemistry. We're starting to see that now is being built, and that's just going to continue from here. At least that's my expectation.
What would you say to the people that are saying that we play the Carolina Panthers this week?
Well, I would say to that the Carolina Panthers that we saw the previous 2 weeks with an Andy Dalton at quarterback,
Hubbard's good.
They weren't a slouch. I mean, they lost by 10 points to the Bengals. They won their first game that they started Andy Dalton. I think it was against the Raiders, but this offense, the Carolina Panthers offense had proven the prior 2 weeks that they can put points up on the board.
Yeah.
I think what our defense did against their offensive line was impressive, considering what their offensive line had done the prior 2 weeks. And our defense is obviously our stronger side of the ball right now, but all levels of that defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary are all playing really well. So I think that's going to continue. Obviously, with this being a London game coming up, there's a lot of other factors that go into that with travel and time change and all these different things, distractions that are involved.
We're talking about that this segment too, right? The upcoming game.
Yeah, the look ahead. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
question for you there before going on too far, Jesse. I did have an article pulled up here as to how we're going to look to replace Brisker. We can talk more about that later. But in terms of that secondary that you were mentioning, it does look like they're going with Elijah Hicks over Jonathan Owens.
Ooh.
Any thoughts there? Jonathan Owens was a standout in preseason. That was
Also, Simone Biles is going to shun the Bears.
He already has. I'm over her.
Okay.
I'm very much over her.
I think if Jonathan Owens had caught that interception that went through his hands at the end of the game, that he maybe would have gotten this job against the Jags this week.
Sure.
No, but in all seriousness, I think that Elijah Hicks is going to fit in just fine. Obviously, Brisker has been a huge part of our defense. He's physical. He knows how to play his position and play in the scheme very well. Yeah. But I don't think there will be much drop off. I think the help that he's going to have around him, especially with Kevin Byard back there as his complimentary safety, he's going to make sure that he's in the right place, lined up properly. He knows what he's doing in the scheme and in the specific play call that they've got set up. So I'm not too worried about it. If this were a more, formidable Jaguars offense, I think it would give us a little bit more trouble. But the Jags are playing better. They had a big win last week, an emotional win, one that they really needed. So I think that they may be a little depleted. One thing that I'm a little worried about, I think the Jaguars have the most experience going across the pond. So they've done this.
A home game for them, right?
Right. Yeah, they've done this a few times. I think they're like the only team.
I don't understand that.
Every year.
That the Jacksonville fans suck? Or why do they go over there? I don't understand that.
I would say probably something having to do with proximity. I mean, there's a lot of teams on the Eastern Seaboard, but
I don't buy it.
That's got to have something to do with it. I would think.
The New York teams would go. I don't know. Seems odd.
Like the Jets who played there last week.
Okay. Well, Minnesota went there. That's weird, I don't know. But why are they playing there 2 weeks and everybody else doesn't do that? It doesn't matter. I want to talk about the Bears a little bit as well. When they came down and scored, the first Hubbard broke away, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, our defense didn't come to play.
Opening pass to Keenan Allen, almost getting picked off.
Yeah, just a little things. We were a little bit came out the gates not firing on all cylinders. But tell you what, I could have shut off the game midway through the third quarter. It was nice to get that as a fan. I wasn't standing in my living room screaming at the TV or sweating. It was just really nice I just laid on my couch.
You were sweating anyway, so don't lie.
Yeah, I probably was. Football gets me a little sweaty. But yeah, so Caleb Williams over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. His passer ratings has been going up every week. And the thing that I see is no turnovers. Every win that we've had, he's taking care of the ball. And I don't care what his stats are, as long as he's taking care of the ball and not giving the other team opportunities, I'm happy. So
in terms of that progression that he's making week over week, Tom, I don't know if it's a fair comparison. I feel like it's a different situation entirely, but I know a lot of people are comparing it to, for one, Mitch Trubisky as well as Justin Fields. We're just like picking up the offense and being, efficient within the offense. Seems like that's coming to Caleb a lot more rapidly than it was previously. Is that something that you're even tracking or even care about? I feel like, to me, I just heard it and was like, he's a different football player than those guys.
Yeah, I think you can see it, and also I credit Shane Waldron in the hurry up this week. I think, it might be with the familiarity of Caleb knowing the offense a little more too. Like, I don't know, he's on the line barking orders and stuff.
Yeah.
That clip with the lineman, like,
we got fucking fire, man.
Yeah, dude, that was good. So, like, that was probably messed up on Caleb's end. But, that was like, it's just that fast pace was nice to see. It kind of got Carolina off guard a couple times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So kudos to him, I guess. He's been calling the last 2 games. He's called pretty well.
It's kind of blending that Jaden Daniels setup with Caleb Williams, where a lot of people are saying that him as well as CJ Stroud have had so much success because they're calling more of like a college-based offense, where they're kind of blending a hybrid of an NFL offense and a college offense where, like you said, he's got a lot of freedom at the line. He can, look to read defenses and communicate more openly there. It's not like, you've got this play, this is how you read it, this is what we're running,
Yeah, in the NFL, you have to be
fluid.
Yeah, you have to be a different type of offense to succeed. And we like the Jets. I keep going to the Jets. I'm not hating on the Jets too much, but like when I watched them, they did not like move at all. And we don't do that much either. But like, I don't know. Just you gotta have motion. You gotta be tricking the D because you're not gonna have success in this league. So it's good to see. Yeah. What else did I want to say? I think that was. Oh, and then what Jesse said, running the ball. I mean, that's obviously I'm a firm believer in you got to run the ball. And I think DeAndre Swift's yards he's probably up to like maybe 4 yards per carry, maybe a little less, which is like, okay. Would like to see more, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, all good points there. I think I had one more question. I'm struggling to think of what it was. So, I mean, obviously we've had high praise the last couple of weeks. Last 2 weeks in a row, all rookie quarterbacks that have started in the NFL have won their games. Kind of a fun stat that I heard the other day. But just to play the devil's advocate a little bit here, I mean, would it be unsurprising to see a little bit of a step backwards against fairly stout Jacksonville defense, or what's been traditionally stout in defense out of Jacksonville?
I want to say they're awful this year.
No, it's a great team with a terrible record. I mean, it's a good team with
on paper they're supposed to be good. Yeah.
But
Jacksonville's not like a slouch. I mean, they've been in all the games I think that they've been playing.
Their PFF defensive grade is 59.7 through 5 weeks, puts them 26th in the league.
Yeah.
Okay. I said traditionally though, so
they're strong. The strong part of their defense, according to this, is their run defense. Their coverage is their weak part of their defense.
All right,
that shapes up nicely.
But they're both weak.
Yeah.
Another 53 game drop back for Williams.
No.
I
would expect a more balanced approach. I mean, I think
that Colts game, I just want to get out of my head so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I think we continued the balanced approach on offense. To your question, Wargo, could we see a step back? I mean, yeah. we could see him turn the ball over one time, make a mistake, and that's all part of the learning process for a young quarterback. But what we need to remember is that our defense is our stronger side of the ball. And even if we do make a mistake, we're still going to be in games where that happens, because they may be able to, even if we turn the ball over on our side of the field, we might be able to hold them to a field goal or even knock them out of field goal range or something like that. So even if we see a little bit of regression, I'm not worried. I think Caleb has shown that he can make mistakes and learn from them pretty quickly. So I'm not even if there are mistakes, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a game ball?
I do think it's possible, especially with it being a London game. There are a lot of variables to take into account in preparation for this game. I think it'll help that they're over there early and they're getting regimented and a routine in place leading up to the game. So it's more, it's more just familiar to them. So I hopefully that means they'll come out fired up, ready to go when the first whistle blows, rather than, coming out a little flat like we saw with the Jets last week.
Just hating on the Jets.
It's actually a podcast about the Jets now.
Well, they fired their coach. They're big on the mind right now, and they looked awful. They just looked bad.
Yeah, but it's a Bears podcast, so we're gonna not talk about firing our coach until probably next week.
I want to do game ball before we start really diving into the game. Game ball, I want to say, probably DJ Moore, right? Last 2 games coming to Caleb's aid. I think he only had like 5 or 6 catches, but 2 touchdowns. I think I'm going to give it to him.
I'm going to give mine to Kevin Byard, veteran presence in the secondary. Came up with a big interception on Andy Dalton. If he can continue to play at a high level, I think he's starting to prove that the move to bring him in was the right move. It's definitely shown to be an upgrade from Eddie Jackson last year. No ill will against Eddie Jackson. I think just, Kevin has proven that he's been able to sustain a high level of play, even if he is a little bit older. And I think he brings a great element to the locker room of leadership and, winning mentality and what it takes to do the right things every play. So, I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah, good one. Works.
Yeah, it's a bit tougher this week than it was last week. I feel like there were a lot of standout stars there. Just because I don't really want to see the regression, I'll give it to Swift. I think 120 yards total from scrimmage there, a little bit of pass, a little bit of run. Continue to have that approach. We've got Roshan to be the bruiser. But I mean, I struggle to, not think about the defensive side of the ball as well there, where, like you said there, Jesse, was Byard that you gave your game ball to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Johnson had another great showing this most recent week as opposed to against Indianapolis. There was a couple times there where I think I mentioned it in last week's show where I think he kind of, reassessed himself as a whole. Hey, Rusha.
Hi, Ru.
Hey,
what are you doing? Oh, jeez.
She's good.
You know what? If I had to give a defensive game ball, Jack Sanborn. That guy's just out there grinding weekend.
I wanted to say honorable mention the Bears defensive line that's not Sweat. I feel like they're stepping up because I don't think Montez Sweat is getting as much as he wants. Like, he's getting in there now and again and getting some pressures, but these other guys are making sacks.
DeMarcus Walker, Javon Dexter.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been coming up a little bigger than I thought they would.
For sure.
I just want to give them some credit because I'm sure. I mean, Montez Sweat's going to have the double teams and such. But what is that? A
Yeah.
big old piece of pizza?
Yes.
Holy moly, that's a half a pizza, bro.
Yeah. Savannah's leaving. It's just a few pieces. She's leaving for her friend's bachelorette party, so I'm just hitting the pizza already. Just get it out of the way early.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point though, Tom. Yeah, the defensive line has looked good outside of Sweat. Kind of interesting to be saying that. I think we'd be very.
I don't think Montez Sweat's playing bad by any means.
Right. Yeah. True.
And I think he's been banged up. That could be false news, but I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of banged up though, Brisker being out with that third concussion now.
He hit that guy so hard though. No wonder he has a concussion. He should have got out of the game then. I don't know if he did or not, but
yeah, he really should have.
He played a lot more snaps.
Yeah, I think so too. I was wondering, dude, he smacked that guy, and the other guy.
Yeah. I'd be kind of interested to see because I feel like when we have those booth reviews and stuff for plays of that nature.
Yeah, how do you miss that?
What's up, Tom?
How do they miss that?
Well, right, yeah, and then he reported concussion-like symptoms after the fact, which
Josh Allen too. That was big. I don't know.
Well, then there's the Rodgers thing too, right? Where they were going to evaluate. What was it, Rodgers, or was it?
Well, he hurt his knee and he was going to the tent, and then they got a turnover or the penalty, and they went back out. But that's a little different. But still,
maybe I'm thinking of Josh Allen. I think I might be thinking of Josh Allen. Somebody.
He hit his head hard. He was knocked out, I think.
And then he was going to go into the protocol, and they were talking about it. They were like, "Hey, is this team going to get fined for not following the?"
Yeah, I don't think anything's come of it yet, but.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see with that Brisker. I would doubt it, in comparison of the two situations. I feel like one was a lot more egregious where Josh Allen was like, yeah, I'm just not going to go in the tent, and then therefore I won't have to take the concussion protocol test. So that was obviously not the case with us, though he did play stats after the fact. So yeah.
So who else is on the injury report for this week?
For the Bears?
Yeah.
Ooh, gosh. I am not sure.
We've got Kyler Gordon's questionable right now.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But I'm guessing he'll play.
He traveled Monday? Or does it not say?
Yeah, he did. It says he was limited in Wednesday's practice. Terrell Smith and Zach Pickens have both been ruled out, and Tevin Jenkins is questionable as well.
Yeah, he got hurt last week, right? That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not so bad.
Quick one. You sell Tevin Jenkins now?
Do you what?
Sell him? We have to do something. When's the trade deadline? End of the month? I heard some rumors that we were trying to get some people before the end of the deadline. I forgot who I read.
I'm sure pulls his scheme in a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause we got what's his face, the terrible receiver last year that didn't pan out, but
Claypool?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Was it okay?
But think about this: the Raiders, what they want for Devontae Adams is a second round pick, and people are balking at that. And we willingly gave up a second round pick for Chase Claypool 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we got Devontae Adams for a second round pick?
Yeah, that sounds real bad.
That will go down as one of Pole's most.
I feel like when you're kicking the tires on Devontae Adams, though, there's a lot of things to point at.
He's old.
Yeah. And I think another component of moving him is that the Raiders don't want to eat a lot of his salary. So I think that they'd be willing to accept maybe a third round pick as long as the receiving team would say we're gonna take a good chunk of this salary as well. So, but all indications are pointing to a Rodgers, Devontae Adams reunion in New York.
Maybe Saleh didn't want him, and they're like, "You don't want him? You're fired."
What I heard was on the radio was that he was planning on taking the play calling duties away from Nat Hackett, And shortly thereafter, he was let go from the organization.
By Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean that's the only. But then I also saw another.
Why would he take play calling duty from Hackett?
He wasn't going to be calling the plays. He was going to just be having someone else call the offensive plays, other than Nat Hackett. But I did see a report today that Nat Hackett isn't going to be calling the plays anymore, anyways. So
what is he going to do?
I don't know.
It's very. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk more about that in there in the match.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about for the Bears before we move on to our?
You're scaring me, dude. What kind of picks do you got? You're rushing. No, I never know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
I mean I think we can wrap this one up with something that Tom had brought up, which is. He heard that maybe we're looking to make some moves somewhere. So if you guys were the Bears front office, what positions are you targeting for acquisitions?
Yeah, swing them on down there in the comments.
Yeah, no, love the comments, love the engagement. If you guys are not very familiar with the YouTube platform, you can subscribe to this channel. It is free to you to do. There's no skin off your back. Give
us a like.
Just like the video and subscribe if you're interested in hearing more content and interested in hearing Tom try to interrupt me further as I close this out for us.
But I was actually posing that question to you guys.
Oh shit.
Well,
who do I want to see us add? Can we just talk about like positions? I don't know about. I don't know if I'd have a specific.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like,
okay,
what positions?
Obviously our O line, right? I mean, we could always with the injuries that the O line. It's in all NFL teams, the O-line is getting hurt. There were some big bodies moving around in there. I'd love to have just extra offensive linemen around, right? But who? Yeah. I'm not very good at names. So
I agree. I think that's the only place that really makes sense right now. If you look at the defensive side of the ball, you got to be pleased with each level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Defensive line's playing well.
Maybe a linebacker?
Well, secondary's playing well. No. We got Tremaine Edmonds. We got TJ Edwards. We got Jack Sanborn.
You're right.
Well.
And up front, Jervin Dexter is, he's looking like one of the premier interior defensive linemen in the league.
Yeah.
Cheap too.
Maybe we could use some depth there. We got Billings. He's a Hoss.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Honorable mention.
Zach Pickens is hurt, but if he gets going, we've got a good rotation there. We might be able to add one more guy because those guys get tired quick.
Who we got for this? We just picked him up this year. What's his name? From the draft.
They've actually. What I noticed, they've been putting DeMarcus Walker in the interior a little bit.
Booker.
So
he's made some good plays. Not sacks per se, but
I would say you got to look at the offensive line if they're looking to bolster anything. Obviously, we're not going to get a quarterback. We're not going to get another running back.
Maybe another receiver. Another
receiver. I can maybe see that, but
what if we were to have injuries? Who's our Carter?
DeAndre Carter, Velus Jones are next two up.
A little more depth there would not hurt.
Yeah.
Especially with Keenan Allen with some lingering injuries,
30-year-old body.
There could be an opportunity there, but I think it mainly is on the offensive line.
Now that we've talked at length about every single position that could potentially be replaced, I'll give my pick as to what I would suggest, and that would be as to bolster the offensive line. I think maybe even a center to snap the ball. That would be really cool. We're working with Coleman Shelton, who's,
Hey, I dig our center now, dude. He's calling out.
He punched that guy, didn't he?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
It might not have been him. I don't think it was him, but that fight was sweet. I was like all going to bat for the Bears player, the number 70 who got ejected. I was like, what are we talking about? We're just ejecting him on like the grounds for being in a fight. Like that's like, two kids getting suspended where, one kid just defended himself and the other kid beat him up. But then it turned out that the Bears guy punched him in the face. So,
yeah, The instant replay does not lie.
Yeah, that'll get you. But no, yeah, we can wrap here. Good week. Looking forward to next week. We're in London. We're going to be waking up early. God,
oh yeah, get our game out of the way quick,
just
so I don't have to stress
give me
about
a
it.
full slate from 7:30 to
inject it into my veins.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what we're getting on to. We're making picks against the spread. So take a look at that episode, but we'll wrap this one up here.
Bear down.
Bears.